A crystal glass tapped with a spoon and the room obeyed. My father, Gordon Hale, raised his scotch in our Lake Tahoe great room. To my son, he announced, Dylan sole heir to the Tahoe estate. $18 million of legacy. Cheers! Erupted. Dylan smiled like victory had always belonged to him. I stayed by the bookshelf, a manila envelope pressed to my ribs, smiling back with a calm that felt sharp. Elliot Crane, the family attorney, glanced at me warning. I met his eyes and said, low and even, for words that cut through the applause, "You truly don't know, do you?" My father's face flushed. "Mara, don't." I let the silence stretch. Before I toppled their kingdom, I wanted them to feel how heavy my quiet could be. For 10 years, I'd kept this estate alive. Permits signed, bills paid, contractors wrangled, emergencies handled before dawn. Dylan's business trips were just disappearances with better receipts. Yet every success earned praise for him building the legacy. 7 days ago, I walked into Gordon's study with our strongest quarter on record. My plan, my numbers. I asked for 10% equity. He laughed, as if furniture had spoken. "You get a roof," he said, "not ownership. You're my investment equipment." I left without a word. He assumed I went to cry. Instead, I opened my office safe and took out the envelope I'd been hiding for 3 years. The seal was still unbroken. A dare. Now Dylan was already working the room, already spending his inheritance out loud. Gordon basked in congratulations. I stepped forward. My heels clicked. The paper in my hands shifted from weight to weapon. Dylan sauntered over, scotch in hand, grin polished for witnesses. "Don't make this weird, Mara," he murmured. "Dad did the right thing." "The right thing?" I echoed, nodding at the envelope. "Already planning your reign?" He leaned against a shelf. "Possession is 9/10, he said. "I possess." "What have you changed?" I asked. "The guest cottage," he said, pleased. "Lounge setup, cards, cigars. Needed it for tonight." My stomach dropped. "The cottage isn't empty." He blinked, irritated. "The old woman?" "June Larkin lives there," I said. "Grandma promised her a home for life." "I had her moved this morning," he shrugged. "Motel off the highway." She cried. It was messy. Across the room, Gordon laughed, accepting praise like nothing could touch him. "She's 82, I said. "She's an expense," Dylan replied, stepping closer. "So are you." "Dad and I talked. We don't need you anymore. You can keep the apartment over the garage for a month. Then you're out." He tapped my shoulder like a light switch. "Go clean the champagne in the hall. Be useful." He walked away. I stood there breathing through my teeth. And something locked into place, not rage. Clarity. They'd finally shown me what the estate meant to them. A playground, not a promise. I slid my thumb under the envelope flap and tore it open. The sound was small, but it cut clean. I stepped into the center of the room. "Excuse me," I said. "Before we continue celebrating, there's an administrative matter." "The deeds." Elliot's pen froze as I spread the papers on the sideboard. "These are recorded," he said slowly. He read the county stamp and looked up, pale. "Gordon, these are real." My father staggered. "Impossible." "Evelyn left everything to me. Evelyn transferred everything into a trust," I said. "I'm the trustee." "I've held the keys for 3 years," Dylan scoffed. "You're bluffing." I flipped open my ledger. Crypto transfers, forged signatures, asset shuffles. "I kept copies while you applauded yourselves." He lunged for the pages. "You stole from us." "I prevented collapse," I said, pressing a notice to his chest. "Eviction. You leave tonight. June returns." His grin cracked. He pulled out a folded document. "Power of attorney. October 14th. Overrides your trust." I slid a hospital chart into Elliot's hands. October 14th. Intubated, sedated, restrained. Elliot swallowed. "She couldn't have signed this." Gordon grabbed my wrist. "Mara, fix this. He's your brother." I pulled free. "You called me equipment." "Equipment doesn't crawl back into chains." Dylan's bravado went soft. "I used the forgery as collateral," he whispered. "They're coming at 5. Headlights washed the windows. Black SUVs climbing the drive. "I called the police," I said. "Not my family." By dusk, Dylan was cuffed. Gordon stared at the wreckage he'd prized like inventory. June arrived with an officer and her suitcase. I handed her the cottage key, then I walked out into the cold lake air and breathed like it was the first clean thing I'd ever owned. Later, I signed a lease in my own name. I slept peacefully.